Rama, the incarnation of God on earth, stands in the forest, furiously threatening to destroy the entire world. His wife is gone, and in this moment of grief, his rage outweighs his divinity. It is here that Jatayu, the great vulture, intervenes. But he does not offer a prayer or a comfort. Instead, he looks directly at the avatar of Vishnu and scolds him. Jatayu reminds Rama that this tragedy was born of his own error. He argues that Rama's own carelessness in leaving Sita unprotected created the very opportunity for her disappearance. This exchange is unique to the 12 traditions we've examined. It appears only in the 12th century Kamba Ramayanam, a masterwork of Tamil literature. Composed by the poet Kambar during the Chola Empire, the text was supported by a patron so significant that Kambar honored him every 1,000 verses across the 10,000-verse epic. By allowing a mortal character to correct a grieving god, Kambar establishes the foundation for his narrative, a world where even the divine are subject to human error and moral consequence. Kambar's approach is defined by an elaborate poetic sensibility. Where the original Sanskrit version covers a royal journey in just 2 verses, Kambar devotes 4 entire chapters to the same distance, focusing on the emotional interiority of those traveling. This focus on interiority reshapes the moral standing of supporting characters. For Ahalya, Kambar removes the ambiguity of her past. He portrays her as the victim of a calculated, total deception by the king of the gods, who disguised himself as her own husband. He applies this same dignity to Tara. Rather than portraying her attachment to a new king as a simple, instinctual transition, Kambar depicts her as a widow in continued human mourning. Even the hunter chieftain Guha is transformed. In this telling, he becomes the absolute model of selfless devotion, his character carrying as much spiritual weight as the royal protagonists. By systematically granting agency and dignity to these figures, Kambar levels the moral landscape of the epic, preparing his audience for a version of the villain that is far more complex than a mere monster. This brings us to Ravana, and the moment that defines his role in every version of this story, the abduction of Sita. In Valmiki's original Sanskrit, Ravana simply seizes Sita and carries her away. But Kambar's Ravana does something that reflects a different psychological profile. He refuses to touch her. Instead of physical contact, Ravana excavates the entire hermitage along with the ground beneath it. He carries the structure to Lanka, keeping Sita safely within. This detail suggests a character paralyzed by a conflicting mix of desire and restraint. Even in the act of kidnapping, he maintains a distance that continues throughout her entire captivity. Kambar clarifies the motivation here. This isn't the calculated revenge for a sister's humiliation found in other texts. It is an all-consuming, independent passion that overrides his reason. By shifting the motivation from external retaliation to internal obsession, Kambar transforms the demon king into a figure whose own nature becomes the engine of his downfall. In a literary sense, this change is significant. A villain acting on revenge is a rational actor, but a character undone by an internal, uncontrollable flaw follows the specific structure of a classical tragedy. Scholar George Hart argues that this psychological depth is what gives Kambar's work its universal quality. He notes that the text spans the complete range of human emotional experience, depicting failings that are developed to their most extreme, tragic conclusions. It is this unflinching engagement with human complexity, rather than simple cosmic evil, that Hart credits for Kambar's influence stretching across much of the Southeast Asian Ramayana tradition. Valmiki's Ravana provides a clear lesson on the dangers of disproportionate retaliation. It is a story about the consequences of an external choice. Kambar's lesson is more personal. He suggests that the very capacity for passion and devotion, qualities that can be a person's greatest virtues, become the exact mechanism of their ruin when they lose the capacity for self-governance. In Kambar's world, the downfall of the demon king isn't just a military defeat. It is the tragic ruin of a being who possessed every power except the ability to restrain his own heart.